We will call to order the meeting of the Parks, Aquatics, Recreation, and Golf Commission meeting for Wednesday, November 16th, 2022.
Commissioner
Roll
Fogg.
call. Oh, thank you.
Commissioner Fogg.
Present.
Commissioner Lawson.
Present.
Commissioner Engelson.
Present.
Commissioner Dory.
Present.
Chair Commissioner Jacks.
Present.
And Commissioner Olson. Present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1, approval of the minutes. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes for August 17th, 2022.
I motion to approve the minutes from August 17th, 2022.
Got a motion by Commissioner Lawson, looking for a second.
I'll second that.
Got a second by Commissioner Fogg. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, consideration of public comments. Those wishing to address the Parks, Aquatics, Recreation, and Golf need not request permission in advance. Action taken as a result of public comments will be limited to directing staff to study the matter or rescheduling the matter for consideration and decision at a later time. Because it's a hybrid meeting, we have 3 opportunities for public participation. Number 1 is in person, 2 is call-ins, 3 written comments. Do we have anybody wishing to make a public comment that's here in person?
None were submitted before the deadline this morning.
Okay, thank you. So we have none. Moving on to item number 3, new business. Tour of parks and recreation facilities. Request commission recommendation of providing a tour for the PARG commissioners of all parks and recreation facilities and future park sites in lieu of the May 2023 meeting regularly held at the council chambers, discussion and action. We open up this topic for discussion.
Or basically by saying, we have done this in the past and it works out really well. Gives everybody an opportunity to kind of see what our plans are kind of, and whoever can participate, I think it has worked out very well. And I think May is good because the weather's a little nicer. If we planned it for February, it could be cold and nasty and not as quite as good. So that's kind of what I thought. And also, hopefully by then we'll have a full commission, which would be nice too. So any rate, and Karen Fogg asked us to be on the agenda, so I'll turn it over to her and see what she has to say. But
I just know there's been some new commission members, and also there's been a lot of new stuff happening at the parks that we should go out and see if we haven't seen some of this stuff. And that's why I requested that be on there. And as far as May, your days are a little longer too, because it takes a little while to get around to a lot of these parks.
Any other comments, discussion items? Okay, looking for a motion. Got a motion by Commissioner Fogg, looking for a second.
I second
that
motion.
Second by Commissioner Dory. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to reports. going to change things up a little bit here and go with number C, which is recreation.
And Yvonne is not able to be here tonight, so our new recreation coordinator this year, Chrisandy Abelna, am I pronouncing it properly, Sandy?
Probably not. Most likely not.
Go ahead and say it. Say your last name so I get it
My
right.
name is Chrisandy Abelana, but you guys can
Abelana.
call me Sandy. All right. So I'm very nervous, just so you guys know. I'm going to turn red. Might mess up a little bit, but I will get through this. Okay, so good evening. My name is Chrisandy Abelana. I'm one of the recreation coordinators. I am here tonight filling in for Yvonne because she's in Cancun, on her way to Cancun without us for her nephew's wedding. Wish we could all be there, but we can't. The recreation division is slowly closing out the end of the fall season of sports, classes, and events. 4 of our new classes that were offered this season have taken off with success, and we are happy to share the news as it exceeded one of the performance measures and department goals. We have begun the process for the upcoming brochure for winter and spring. In dance this season, we had 15 youth classes and 4 adult classes. We have successfully registered 117 youth dancers this season. Adult dance classes were available in jazz, contemporary, tap, and hula. We also offered 12 private lessons this season. The end of the season dance recital will be on Saturday, December 10th at Kingman High School, if you guys are interested in checking it out. With youth sports, volleyball began in September and concluded last week and had 52 participants that were divided up into 6 teams. Adult co-ed volleyball in September. Sorry, guys. Adult co-ed volleyball began in September, and the last game is this evening and had 21 teams with 189 players. Adult basketball will finalize its season on November 28th with 11 teams and 107 players. Adult kickball was postponed due to many conflicts with other sports. Youth basketball registrations are now being taken until December 9th, but fees will increase on November 29th. We added 7th through 9th graders for those who wish to play, but maybe cannot make their teams, their school teams. I have a lot. These last few months, we worked closely with all the community organizations by reserving field spaces. Reservations are the big part of our daily business. Between youth soccer, travel baseball, youth football leagues, adult softball, and Lee Williams High School and Kingman Academy Middle School and high schools. We also completed 885 field reservations at Centennial Park, 466 at Southside Park, for a total of 1,355 field reservations for the last 3 months. On August 26th was our drive-in movie. We featured the movie Uncharted, which was the scheduled movie for our float-in movie, but got canceled due to the storms. 41 vehicles in attendance. We also had another drive-in movie on September 29th, the animated movie Bad Guys, and we had 64 cars in attendance. Our team had a very successful Andy Divine Days parade with 85 entries. As mentioned last month, the parade was not going to be run by the city this year, but we picked up the ball and ran with it in a matter of 4 weeks. Last month, we held our fall coloring contest and announced winners on Facebook and posted the coloring sheets on our office window for viewing. Recreation staff played a big role in the Route 66 festival. by providing cashier and customer service, ID checks, and assisting with whatever else was needed before it was rained out. Coming on December 3rd, we will be involved in the Parade of Lights by providing Santa and the castle with a PowerPoint display on the side of the AV truck. We will hold an annual Breakfast with Santa at Golden Corral, and the Mrs. Claus Holiday Workshop has been sold out since September. Registrations are open for both Santa's Calling and letters for the Santa program. Are you guys interested in doing that? Do you guys know what that is? No? Okay, so if you guys are interested in volunteering, placing calls, so you can call the kids to be for Santas and elves and all that stuff. But if you guys have questions about that, I'll tell you more about it after. Okay. Many of our teams, or many of our events, take the team effort, and we want to thank Jerry and his maintenance crew and Patrick and the golf crew for their help with the parade and movie nights and whenever help is needed. Both city pools have been closed to the public since August 12th. Centennial Pool remained open for school swim practices. Schools host a few meets in September and October before finishing their season on October 27th. On Sunday, January 1st, we will host the 22nd annual Polar Dip. Pools will reopen to the public on Memorial Day of next year. We also hired 2 new part-time office attendants, Sarah Kephart and Celeste Bobrovsky. We also have hired 3 new instructors to teach classes this fall. Jacob Tosh will be teaching our chess club, Elizabeth Opal for youth and adult cooking, and Valerie Kaminsky has had fun teaching our new hula dance. We hired a new adult basketball official, James Duringer, who moved from Alaska with experience in high school officiating. We participate in the Citizen Academy on October 12th and a citywide Supervisors Academy that is taking place over the next few months. The Recreation Division will spend the next 2 months working on holiday activities and planning for the distribution of the winter and spring 2023 activity guide to be available the weekend of January 7th of next year. That's all I have, guys. I tried my best. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions? No?
Actually, I have one. It goes back to the Santa's Calling. The Park and Rec office will receive about over 200 of these entries from different kids, and there's multiple children in the house too. And they also could use, if anybody is, grab a handful of these and call these kids and talk to them about Santa Claus, but also if you're bilingual too, because there's a lot of those children too. But it's a great program.
We do it every year. The parents
Done
love
it
it.
for many, many years.
And the kids, they love it the most also. So if you guys are interested, please let us know, and that'll be awesome. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Okay, so we will move back to item A, Golf Course Superintendent Report.
Evening, everybody. It's good to see you all again. I'm going to cover just a few things from my submitted report, starting with cultural practices. For us on the golf course, obviously spring and fall is huge because we airify just about everything wall to wall that we can get. One of the things that really worked well for us this year, we don't normally pull a core out of the greens in the fall. We usually solid tine them. which kind of leads to a little bit of compaction, in my opinion. And so we were able to pull what's called a microcore. And I actually got the idea from one of Mike's kids at one of their courses. They were using it. And Mike happened to be there and take a video of it. And so we tried it out, and it worked great. We were able to aerify the greens. We didn't have to shut them down. We were able to pull a microcore out of them, blow them off, roll them before play ever even got there. And they didn't have a clue that we were there. So it was a great process, and we'll definitely be using that in the fall moving forward. All of the areas that we aerified, obviously, were followed up with some fertilization applications, some 0050 sulfate of potash. That helps our root zones, helps us get through the winter, gives the grass something to feed on in early spring as it starts to turn again. And then obviously, we kind of jump forward a little bit here in my notes, but we received about 5 inches of rain on the golf course out of all the monsoon this year. So that's good in the aspect that we did not have to irrigate for almost a month, an entire month that normally we would be putting water, mass water out. The negative to that, obviously, is it created a little bit of fungus issues across the golf course, worse than it's been since I've been there. You know, fortunately, again, for Mike, when I first started, he was able to wrangle the city manager and move some numbers around in the budget so that we could afford fungicide. And I think putting those applications out this year really saved the golf course from being a lot worse than what it was. So we're fortunate to have that too. As I mentioned, yeah, we put out 7 reduced cycles in the whole month of August as far as irrigation. We did a little hose reeling, a little hot spot in here and there, but when the humidity's high and the temperature's high, it's a breeding ground for fungus, so we try really hard to stay away from it. We're continuing satellite upgrades. The next one to be done is RDR7, which controls holes 10 and 11 on the golf course. And moving forward from there, we're gonna have to look at our budget because like everything else, the commodities to build them are going up in cost. So our costs are going up, and it's gonna unfortunately per piece be above our allowed purchasing limit. So we're gonna have to do a little research on that to be able to move forward, but hopefully we can get the transition finished. We just received about a week ago our new computer-aided irrigation system, and we're not able to put that in until we get some of these satellites upgraded. So it's a transition that Toro's pretty much forcing the industry to go to, and we do have to stick with Toro. Is not only proprietary, but that's what we have in the field. And it's going to be a lot cheaper to upgrade those satellites than it would be, obviously, to upgrade the whole irrigation system. Let's see. Lastly, some education things. I attended Desert Green, what they call Desert Green Conference in Las Vegas in October. That's always very exciting because obviously anybody that watches the news knows what's going on with Lake Mead and water restrictions. And so I try really hard to stay on top of everything that's going on, how it's going to affect us, not just at the golf course, but as a city as a whole. So a lot of great information was given out, a lot of information on xeriscapes and areas to take turf out that we're currently doing and adding landscape back in that does not take water. And obviously that's the direction we're going to have to move in the direction we are moving. So, and I'd also like to notice that our assistant park superintendent, Matt Golder, went with us, and I think that he got a lot of great information out of that too. So we're trying to spread it around the department a little bit. So that pretty much everything that I've got, unless anybody has any questions.
I have one question, just out of curiosity. During the epidemic, I remember you guys briefed that we're getting some more out-of-town players coming to the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
How's that figured out now that the epidemic is pretty much over?
I would say once Vegas opened their golf courses back up, it kind of hit a lull. But I think Sam would attest to this even since he's been here. I think we're seeing a lot of people moving here. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a lot of new faces and people coming in. We don't have near the flux that we did then. And to be 100% honest with you, I'm glad because they were doing nothing but destroying our golf course. Right. They were just absolutely tearing it up. So I mean, we were fortunate to stay open. We were fortunate to all keep our jobs and be able to feed our families and things like that. But there's also a negative to that for sure. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any comments or questions? Tell us a little bit about
I can. That's a process that we're going to be doing on several of the greenside bunkers this winter. I chose to start there for 2 reasons, actually. One, I've got 5 out of 7 new groundskeepers that have never been through the process. And I know that you play golf, and I know that you see it, and you probably have seen that we've reshaped that thing 4 times for them to get it right, but they finally did. We were able to put the sod on it, and we actually put sand in it today, so once we get it grown in, we'll definitely get it open. It was a little more elaborate probably than it should have been, but to me, it was a great place to start, not just for training the personnel. Those bunkers get more use than any other bunkers on the golf course. And the steep slopes on those were a safety hazard, in my opinion. So I really wanted to knock those down. So we kind of killed, 3 or 4 birds with 1 stone by doing that. So. It was a very, very, very elaborate drain system that was put in when I was on vacation, and I attest to that.
It's good, though. It's good to have.
It's good to have. It did hold water, as you know, as it was, and so, yeah, we do need to add some drainage, but it doesn't need to be quite that elaborate moving forward. But again, these guys are learning. They've never done it, so maybe the best time to start on it wasn't when I was on vacation. I figured that out, but we are going to move to the other side and get it done quickly. Another thing that's going to help us is our mowing is slowing way down. So I don't have guys out, frost delay till 9 and then mowing till noon and then only working a couple hours on it. We'll be able to get out and knock them out first thing, so.
Another positive about doing that bunker, and I mentioned this to Patrick, which I think is another positive, obviously, is that one does get a lot of use. And so everybody's blasting stones and rocks onto the greens, and it's tearing up your mowers. So, if you can get that one, so it's nice, clean sand that they're hitting up there, it's going to benefit us on the rest of the greens. So, well, it's important to do that for maintenance purposes, for one thing, too, So, it's going to be a lot easier and more safe for our employees. So,
Absolutely.
it's going to be really nice, I think, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to, getting them all trained, which they pretty much are, and moving forward a little bit quicker, getting a lot more of them done. I want to move through as many of the green sides that are really bad this winter, hopefully prioritize for next winter, and be able to get through the whole golf course very efficiently. So, yeah, no problem.
I guess I have one other question, just out of, once again, curiosity.
Sure.
But when John was talking about what's going on out on the golf course, well, first of all, I'm really a horrible golfer, and it's probably just as good I'm not out there thrashing around, right, big stuff up, but I do get out there every now and then. But the question I had was, for a municipal golf course, how do you know what skill level that the course compared to a PGA tournament golf course to municipal golf course? Is there some standard there?
I think there's a standard there, and I would say from the golf courses that I've worked at personally for a municipality, Surbat is very nice. It ranks up there in my opinion. It really does compared to some of them that I've played. To answer your question more specifically, in my opinion, your golfer pretty much sets that for you. You don't really get to pick the quality of player that comes out, so to speak.
And you try to encourage them to play the right set of tees. That's important,
Absolutely.
too. You don't want a beginner to go to the black tees and play the back tees. You try to encourage them to, play the forward tees a little bit and things like that, so.
Because we want them to have fun and come back.
Mhm.
So.
Any other comments? One more thing.
Anyway, there was about 9 players that, I don't know where they were from,
Mm-hmm.
they were walking out. But David said something. I said, oh yeah, you had a great time. It's a great course, we really like it.
Well, I appreciate that.
Appreciate
That's
that
always
very
nice to
much.
hear. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for the report.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny, I say that a lot of times people that aren't from here compliment us way more than the people that are from here. You know, yeah, you know. Not you personally, but you've been around, you know. It's like, they need to get out and see what some of the other places are like, you know, and realize how good we have it. And I think all of our parks, all of them, everything is like that. When you only see what's here, you don't realize how much better it is than a lot of other places. Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, moving over to item B, golf pro report.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Hope y'all can hear me through the mask. Real quick, we set up an agreement with a couple of vendors. One of them is PG Golf, a company I dealt with out of Houston. They're the biggest golf ball retrieval company in the United States. And what they do is they go and dive in the ponds and get all the balls that we hit in there and redo them and then sell us. They give us money for it, and then we buy range balls and gloves and stuff like that from them, so we get a credit. So they dove in the pond on hole 6. They haven't done 9 yet. Got 5,198 golf balls out of hole 6.
Really?
Yeah. But it hadn't been done in 10 years or so. I mean, it hadn't been done in a while, but still 5,200, that's a lot.
It's a lot of bad shots.
Yeah. Seems like
Couple mine probably too.
4,000 of them were mine probably, but we Intermountain Golf Carts is a golf cart company out of Las Vegas. We rented 10, I believe, golf carts to get us through the summer. They picked those up October 16th. Kind of to touch on what you said, one of the things I'm doing this winter is examining out-of-town marketing strategies for the out-of-town golfers. I have noticed quite a bit, and one of the easiest ways to kind of judge that is the amount of rental sets that we do when people rent clubs. They're not locals, and we do our fair amount of rental club sets, so that's a good thing. The Kingman Men's Club hosted their alternate shot event August 17th. We had a birthday party on August 12th, a celebration of life on September 17th. For the non-golf events, I think that's probably where we're headed and where we need to head because it doesn't interfere with the golfers. It's just nighttime events. It's just extra revenue. Okay. We had a barbecue for the council and commission members. For those of you that were there, thanks for coming. Stakeholder meeting on September 12th. The ice machine has been down in the grill for a while. I think we're getting a new one, right? Tomorrow. Wow. That's pretty good service. I heard we're getting new. No. Anyway, that's good. Ice machine. Rain slowed, what'd you say, 5 inches this summer? Okay. Good for the course, bad for the fungus. You know, it hurts the rounds a little bit. But our rounds have been real good up until November, up until this month. So next meeting, you know, they're going to be down a little bit. Hosted a rentals group of 30 golfers from Lake Havasu. They liked the course a lot. Fireman's golf tournament was a big success, 160 players. We've had interviews with, you know, clubhouse attendants. That's like a constant thing. We lost 2 of them going back to school, so we have to hire more, and it's kind of to a degree of revolving door deal. The junior clinic began on August 26th. That's our fall event. We had 50 kids, so it seemed to be a little more organized. We had a lot more instructors. Pat loaned us 2 of his workers that are good golfers, so I think the kids learned a lot more in the fall event. The Elks and KRMC had their tournaments. The Elks had 96 players. KRMC had around 140. Kingman High School had their tournament, 40 kids. That was September 2nd. Let's see. We did have a guy in the KRMC, David Cardiff, won a truck by hitting a hole-in-one on number 10. So, pretty good deal there, I'd say. We have a new clubhouse attendant, Joel. He's doing a great job. He's a fireman for the federal government. I think he puts out wildfires. So they ship them all over, but so he'll just be here till maybe April, and then he works for 6 months, and then he's back here again. That's doing a great job. We had hosted a movie event October 7th. The Cowboy Classic Golf Tournament had 63 players. That's a tournament put on by Richard Martin, and it benefits a gentleman that passed away a few years ago, and everyone has to wear a cowboy hat when they play. So, pretty interesting deal there. We had the Citizens Academy, October 12th. Again, the lease carts were picked up. We spend a lot of our time picking up range balls from behind the netting and to the right of the netting and the range. We just constantly lose them. People hit them all over the place, so probably going to have to get some balls pretty soon. We got our latest winter and fall apparel in the pro shop. We're having daily frost delays, almost, might be every day for the next 3 months, basically. Yeah, pretty close. I went with our F&B manager, her name's Sam as well, to the Cisco Food Show in Bullhead. It was pretty good, looking to explore new options for our grill area, mainly grab and goes, things that we can get in and out pretty quick. Lots of comments on the bunker and practice green. Anyway, that's about it. Any questions on anything? Yes?
With regard to the revenue, you were talking about bringing in extra revenue. How do you make it known that the venue is available for special events?
We haven't done much marketing yet, mainly word of mouth. Social media is probably the best way to do it, but it's at this point, it's just we're doing getting our feet wet, doing a slow opening, so to speak, but we'll get it cranked up here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have you received all the new golf carts that you had ordered? And
It's funny that you asked that question.
No.
No, we haven't, but these guys don't even know that I heard the newest update. I just got it yesterday. They're saying December 7th now is when our expected delivery, December 7th. So, but they've told us a date. They keep kicking it back for months, but we're hoping that it's December 7th. So they usually ship them all at once or in a couple semi-loads at a time, but yeah.
I mean, I've been at courses and had friends at courses where they'll say like December 7th and November 20th, they'll show up, the thing will drive up and, you're going, but you don't want to.
We're hoping for that, so.
Yeah, we don't want to turn them away, right?
Gosh.
Okay, thank you.
this is the park superintendent report. Period.
All right, I'm Jerry Seib, your park superintendent. We'll start with playgrounds. So the Metcalf Playground, we had the trees trimmed and the swing sets painted. And we had a ribbon ceremony held on August 12th for the rock walls we put in.
members of the Parks, Park Commission members, City Council, City officials, Kingman, Route 66 Rotary Club, the adopters of that park, and members of the public were in attendance. Moving down to Hub's Playground, we had outdated equipment that we could not receive replacement parts for was removed. A new rope spinner and play panel was installed, and we had swings painted to match the new equipment. Moving on to Mojave Playground, we had barriers installed near the slide. We had old gravel safety surface removed and a new spinner apparatus installed, and pretty soon we'll be installing new safety surface as well. Going on to our White Cliffs Phase 2 expansion. ACE has started the Phase 2 expansion of White Cliffs. They have completed 2 8-week stretches working on the trails so far, completing the Spicy Pickle, Cactus Loop, Skyline Loop, the Quail, Jackrabbit Loop, and the Docks Trail. Moving on to other trail work. The Culvert Bridge at Campbell Loop was washed out and repaired following last week's heavy rain. And we fixed it, and then it was washed out again. Yeah. The new trail maps installed at kiosk at Campbell Loop. Moving on to safety, heavy monsoon storm in August caused many trees to fall over and branches to break. Our maintenance staff had to work weekend after storm to address some safety issues with that. We had a large overhanging limb at Wacog Preschool removed, chipped and broken areas of concrete repaired at Centennial, and concrete walkways to pump room were installed at Grandview. We went on to Centennial Park. We were experiencing flooding on the soccer fields at Centennial. We used some field dirt to make a quick fix to make it playable. Then over the next coming week, we seeded and top dressed the area. A bench was donated by the Kiwanis Club, and we installed it in the dog park at Centennial. We had 3 ice machines go down right at the end of summer, and they've all been since repaired and replaced. Went on to Adopt a Park. We currently have 10 groups with another currently interested. The Kingman Keno Starbucks Company now have adopted Canyon Shadows Park now for 3 months. We'd like to thank all adopters for their continued commitment to the community. Moving on to miscellaneous repairs and improvements. The park maintenance staff had to set up and tear down for 9 different events this quarter, which is very time consuming with moving tables, chairs, setting up audio, stuff along those lines. Our department is currently fully staffed, but we're still going through a lot of training. One of them being our chemical applicator, who is actually in Phoenix right now getting certified. Our park maintenance staff have received 10 MVV awards this quarter, and two of my employees have got the city's MVV champion award. That was Matthew Golder and our equipment operator, Rocky Burdine. Hand cranks were installed at Southside Park for movie screen. It's made this a lot easier with raising that screen instead of all of us trying to pull it up manually. Now we just hand crank it up. It's made the process a lot easier and takes less people to do. Lots of tree trimming and roadside trimming and weeding has been taking place following all the rains and finally being fully staffed. But we are still down inmates, so it's a long process to catch up. Moving on to irrigation repairs and MROs. We had 9 line blowouts this quarter. We had 9 station rebuilds we had to do this quarter. Irrigation is now set to our winter schedule, which is anywhere between 15 and 20% currently right now. And we removed a couple run days, we're down to 4. We did 327 MROs completed for this last quarter, and $4,684 in vandalism reported for the months of August, September, and October. Moving on to actual vandalism, we had 14 incidences of graffiti, broken light bollard at Canyon Shadows, a window in the men's locker room at Centennial Pool broken from the inside, 2 instances of broken trash cans, 2 incidents of dugout gates being damaged at South by unauthorized use, and other various small minor vandalism issues such as broken soap dispensers. Vandalism is up since last quarter, and we've seen a lot more graffiti in this last week. But that will conclude my report, if you guys have any questions.
I just have a comment. I was over at Hubs Park, and
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, that one needed a lot of work, but we're currently plugging away at it, yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll pass it on to everybody below me.
The rock climbing wall at Metcalf,
Yes.
have there been any phone calls come into the parks? Like, my kid fell off it and broke their arm?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we put that, yeah. We excavated that. We actually went a little overkill with the excavation and the safety surface, so.
Okay, is there any sign saying climb at your own risk, or?
I'm not sure if we have that. No.
It really is a very safe, and we're not the only park system in the country that has them. They're very, very popular, really.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good to have with the area we have. You look at, a couple hundred yards away is White Cliffs. So, and kids go there and it's good to have a place to practice before they go there. So, I mean, I think it's, like I said, it's a matter of fact, I tell the story, we had a council member recommended that, and I had just gotten back from a trip to Glacier National Park, and Jackson Hole, Wyoming has million plus, maybe $2 million worth of those kind of rock climbing. They have exactly the ones we have, but even way bigger and way more of them. So, and they're packed busy all the time there, and we've had a lot of activity there too. So, I think they're a lot more safe than some of the older playground equipment we had even in there. So, at any rate.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I think the usage of the parks that we see here in Kingman attests to the quality of the parks. They're used all the time to drive around, and it really says a lot about the quality of the park. People wouldn't be out.
Yeah, seen definitely a lot increase just in physical fitness, and that alone, I see that changed a lot in Centennial with the equipment being used there. Thank you.
Item 5 is announcements by commission members. Limited to announcements, availability, or attendance at conferences, seminars, requests for agenda items for meetings, requests for reports from staff, no discussion on any of these items. I'd like to make a comment and say thanks for the appreciation barbecue that the city group for us. And not only is the food great, but the participation was really good. The mayor was there, the city manager was there.
Several council members, yeah.
Several council members were there, and it was great.
I think they did a great job too. I've got that in my notes to mention too. So I appreciate you bringing it up though, because I thought it was really very well done. I think it was a very good thing. And they said the first annual, so it's going to be annual that we're going to do it. So I think it's a really good thing. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Mike, do you have any other comments?
I have a few, just a few notes that I want to just mention. The stakeholder meeting that they mentioned was really good too. People came there and got to, and I think a lot of people come to there and they learn a lot about things they didn't realize about the golf course, because there's a lot there that people don't know. So I think that was really good. And I also like to touch on the recreation department. Sandy did a great job, and this is Sandy's first year and Jim's first year, so they're working hard, doing a lot of good stuff, and Yvonne, and I really appreciate everything all these guys did. It's been a challenging time for me, and they've been awesome. So anyway, I appreciate that, and it's always good to get through the pool season without any major traumas, and so we got through another pool season, so I'm happy about that. That's always a good one to get through. And Jerry's team has done a great job this year with all these different projects that we're talking about and everything. And those are all things that are above and beyond and without inmates and things like that. So it's good to get that stuff done. And big thanks to Sierra. Obviously, her job is not any easier than it ever was either. It's very challenging. So, and then she went off and got married. So she was gone for a while on a honeymoon and all that. So she's just getting caught up now, I think. But anyway, I appreciate what she does too. So. Another thing I want to mention is the exciting trail work that's going on. We're going to be linking downtown to uptown. It's really very exciting. We're getting over $240,000 worth of grant money in our trails here, and it's going to be really, really nice. And so far, the ACE has been here, and they've gotten 1.7 miles in 2 hitches. So they've got that many trails built this year. So, and they've got some beautiful ones. So. It's really coming along, and we're real excited about that. The other thing I was going to mention, I guess, is there's some commissions. We don't have any commission members that can't be put back on, so I'm going to be calling the ones whose terms are up and begging you to stay on. So at any rate, I'll be reaching out to those. So anyway, I wanted to just give you a heads up so you can expect a call from me. But any rate, that, and then the commission luncheon, which they've talked about already, which is great, in the stakeholder meeting, I mentioned that. Also, the next meeting is February 15th. That's about all I have. But thank you all very much too. So, any rate.
Any other commissioner comments?
stay on, we get a 50% raise.
Yes, you do. Okay.
Okay, item number 6. Adjournment, looking for a motion for adjournment. I have a motion by Commissioner Engelson, for second.
I second.
Second by Commissioner Clausen. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.